Good morning. Today is Saturday, May 19th, 2018. You are listening to Studio 365, powered by tablethink. My name is Joshua, and I'm here in the studio with Pastor Kerrie Palmer, enjoying this awesome weekend, because every weekend should be awesome.
It should be awesome.
So even if you're working, you can still make it an awesome weekend.
Always.
Yeah. So my wife always works on the weekends, but she still makes it an awesome weekend.
Well, it's because she's awesome.
That's right. So, and she really, though, does love when she finally is done with work. And then
she has long days.
Yeah. So she works 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah. And then what do you do when you're like, she leaves you alone?
She does. Yeah. So I actually do that's the days I do house stuff. I can play whatever I want really loud. So she likes to watch more movies or TV shows, and I more like to listen to the news or strange podcasts about weird technical things or whatever. So I can have that going all day, and then I just sounds boring. You would think I would do something more exciting. I usually clean and shop for groceries and stuff.
Wow. So she comes home and things are done.
Yeah, she comes home and I've got things cleaned up.
That does not sound weird. That sounds very good. Good job on being a good husband.
Thank you. I try.
That's really good. And, really our message today kind of goes along with that. And we'll kind of go back to what you're doing and everything, but it's from 1 Corinthians 13:3. And, that's the love chapter. If you've been to any wedding practically has that scripture about what love is the love chapter. That's right. And, you have to really start digging deep because you're so used to hearing it. You almost become numb to the words. But in verse 3, it says, if I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it. And then my favorite word, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Yeah. And I've thought about that so much because we're living in a time where loving others is not happening too much. Yeah. Yeah. It's sometimes it's very distressing how people are so concerned with self. And so I had this awesome neighbor that he would just be amazing. He would just have this little, those push lawnmowers. Have you ever seen it with, there's no power except for
Yeah. That's old school.
That is old school.
And every time I've never used one, but every time I see someone doing that, I think that probably takes a lot of effort.
It does. It does. See, back in the day when I was growing up, that's what my dad had.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you just, when finally you got something with a motor, it was like, what? It was pretty amazing. But my neighbor it was just his own muscle that was doing it. Wow. And he'd take that thing all over the neighborhood. And if a lawn had to be mowed, he would go up and say, I'd love to mow your lawn. And he would do it with that. Wow. And I don't know exactly why he did that, because he had another mower, but it was this kind of signature that he had that he was doing the work, that it was really a labor of love. Yeah. And I remember the first time how I met him was he mowed my lawn. Oh, cool. And I was pretty excited over the whole thing. And at first I was like, oh, wow, he thinks my lawn needs to be mowed, which it did. Yeah. But, it's kind of like, oh, dear, is it bothering him? You know? And then as I got to know him, I realized that was his act of service. Wow. That he was doing it to love the neighborhood, but also to bring about kind of a community. And really cool guy and everything. And, it's made me always think that at least once a month, we need to take one of our Saturdays or Sundays or whatever our days are off, I should say, and just really do something that's an act of kindness. Right. And do it out of love, not out of, I want something back. Yeah. Yeah. It is very, you don't do it for yourself, but in reality, when you do something like that and spend your time to help someone or to do something, it's very fulfilling, and you just kind of feel like you're doing the right thing. Right. And you have to be okay that someone may never even say thank you. Yeah. And, a long time ago, I really struggled with the fact that, I couldn't always make someone happy. Right. And it took me quite a while to realize that loving others did not mean that they were going to be happy with me. Yeah. That's kind of a weird concept, but I started realizing that I was almost requiring people to be happy with me because I loved them, and began to realize that no, loving someone means that nothing in return. I'm just loving them
Right.
to give them love, to do this act of service. And so I had, I've had some amazing friends. I had one set of friends that they bought groceries for different neighbors once a week.
Oh, wow.
And they would just bring in sacks of just kind of those staples and everything.
Yeah,
And when
cool.
you saw them coming, you knew what they were doing because they were known for that.
Right.
And they would, tell you, if you don't need these, please give them to someone that needs them.
Yeah.
And they would just leave that to you. Isn't that an awesome
Yeah,
idea?
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some YouTube videos. They were kind of, I guess, maybe another version of that. It was this guy who they said that they used their money one time, and they went out and got in line behind people at the grocery store, and then they would just pay for people's
Wow.
groceries. And then they put videos up, and then people started donating money to this, and so now they just do this.
Wow.
Yeah, so their one act of doing
Wow.
that then generated all this
Right.
excitement. And so now they kind of try to find people who they can just bless and
Right.
pay off their grocery bill. So,
It just makes me think and inspires me to think that we need to come up with something like that.
yeah.
That as part of, receiving from God, that we, Studio 365 and friends need to come up with something like that.
Yeah, that
that's
would be
just
cool.
an act of love once a month
Right.
that we all do together, that it's giving ourselves. So I think, for today, let's just remember that without love, we've gained nothing.
Yeah.
So Joshua and friends, I will talk to you tomorrow in Studio 365.
Well, what a great message. Go out, find something that you can do today that's good and help someone, and be a blessing. So thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you know someone who this show would be a blessing or a good thing in their life, make sure to pass it along and let them know that they can listen to us. And we will see you right back here tomorrow for Studio 365.